Today's video is requested by Lord Cinder. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Bees are flying insects of the Anthophila group, known for their venomous sting and producing honey and beeswax. Bees are adapted to feeding on nectar as well as pollen and play an important role in pollination. This is the transfer of pollen from the male part of the plant to a female part of the plant, thus enabling fertilization and the production of seeds. They range in size and length from 0.08 inches for some stingless bee species to 1.54 inches for the largest leafcutter bee species. They have large compound eyes and antennae, which hold sense organs tasked with detecting smell, taste, and ear movements. Their mouth parts have a pair of mandibles, which are adapted for chewing, and a long proboscis used for sucking up nectar. Their bodies have 3 segments and wings, which in flight employ the same mechanics as helicopters. Even though the stinger averages only 0.007 inches in length, a bee's sting can be very painful and may even cause death. Number 6. Chinese woman. A video which became viral in China in July 2018 showed a woman who had been stung in the face by a bee swarm, triggering an allergic reaction that rendered her features almost undistinguishable. She'd been trying to catch bees and collect honey up in a mountainous region when the insects attacked. As she filmed herself, the woman didn't seem to be very affected by what had happened, and even made a 2-line rhyme about it. It would roughly translate as, "I was bored and went in the mountain to catch some bees, but I was helpless when the aggressive bees stung me." Yet her face had almost doubled in size. Her lips, nose, cheeks, and left eye became extremely swollen. This happened because her body's defense system had overreacted to the histamine component of the bee venom. Many viewers and commenters, including the woman herself, found the humor in the incident, but the truth is that things could have been much worse. There are approximately 20,000 bee species, grouped in various biological families, with a worldwide distribution. The Western honeybee, or the European bee, is the best known and can be found on every continent except Antarctica. Bees can be solitary or live in various communities. True honeybees are highly social creatures, and their colonies are established in swarms consisting of a queen, worker bees, and male bees or drones. Each of them has different duties and responsibilities within the colony. Human apiculture, or beekeeping, has been practiced for thousands of years, since ancient Greece and ancient Egypt. In Greek mythology, for example, honey was considered to be the food of the gods. Beekeepers usually keep their colonies in hives from which they collect honey, bee glue, beeswax, or pollen for personal or commercial use. Number 5. Vern Roberts. Texas man Vern Roberts was mowing his lawn outside his Wallace home in September 2018 when he was attacked by a swarm of Africanized honeybees. The aggressive insects overpowered him as he fell to the ground, and he tried to stop, drop, and roll. He could have been stung to death if not for his wife Mary, who helped him get inside the house. In doing so, the woman was stung over 60 times. Roberts was stung nearly 600 times, all over his body, including his mouth and even down his throat. The paramedics arrived to the house but couldn't get to Roberts because his lawn was still swarming with bees. Roberts had to muster all the strength he had left to walk outside and get to the ambulance. He was stung a few more times before he reached the vehicle. He was rushed to the hospital and spent 3 days in the intensive care unit, but was expected to make a full recovery. The bee is a type of kamikaze of the natural world, as it typically dies after delivering a sting. After a honeybee delivers the venomous injection, it leaves its barbed stinger inside your skin and flies away, thus tearing off its abdomen. However, the queen honeybee and other bee species are known to have smoother stingers with smaller barbs, and may sting vertebrates repeatedly. Luckily, the queen doesn't usually leave the hive and mainly uses its stinger for dispatching rival queens. When the bee stings, it delivers apitoxin and releases alarm pheromones, which may attract other bees from the hive to the location. These pheromones do not dissipate or wash off quickly, and the other bees that are attracted may exhibit defensive behavior and target the victim with hundreds of further stings. A strong attack from an aggressive swarm may even cause death. The main component of the bee venom, which causes pain in vertebrates, is a toxin called melittin. For people allergic to bee venom, a sting can trigger an anaphylactic reaction, which may cause death. Africanized honeybees are the product of crossbreeding between European honeybees and the African honeybee. Since 26 swarms escaped from quarantine in 1957, they've spread throughout the Americas. There's a reason why Africanized bees are commonly known as killer bees. They're more aggressive, react faster to disturbances, and may chase the victim a quarter of a mile. Along with killing horses and other animals, they're responsible for at least 1,000 human deaths, with victims being stung thousands of times. Number 4. KRISTEN Beauregard. In July 2013, KRISTEN Beauregard and her boyfriend were at their North Texas farm with their miniature horses when they were attacked by a swarm of around 30,000 bees. Beauregard was exercising her Shetland pony named Trump when he started to kick and jump. Within seconds, a swarm of bees started stinging them. According to Beauregard, there were so many of them that they blocked out the sun. The 44-year-old, her boyfriend, and even their horse tried to escape the cloud of bees that was stinging them by jumping in the pool, but it didn't help. As they came up for air, the bees stung them in the face and nose. Beauregard eventually managed to get to the house, where she called 911. Firefighters in protective gear arrived at the scene and sprayed a special foam substance to disperse the bees. Beauregard had been stung about 200 times and her boyfriend about 50 times, but they both managed to survive the attack. Trump and a 6-year-old show horse called Chip died as a result of the numerous stings they'd sustained. Additionally, the bees killed 5 hens and also stung the couple's dog. Number 3. Paula Andrea Ramos Molina. An attacking bee swarm can sometimes induce such panic and confusion in their victims that it leads to tragedy. Such was the case for 22-year-old Paula Andrea Ramos Molina. As forestry engineer in Colombia, she was part of a team carrying out an assessment in a rural area of the Caldas district. In September 2018, as Ramos Molina and one of her colleagues were examining the area assigned to them, they accidentally dislodged a killer bee hive. The furious insects swiftly descended upon them. As they ran away from the killer bees that were repeatedly stinging them, both Ramos Molina and her colleague fell off a cliff. Tragically, the young woman broke her neck in the fall and died instantly. Her colleague, whose name hasn't been released, suffered multiple injuries and countless stings. They remained in the hospital and were considered to be in grave condition. Wear light-colored clothing and don't disturb beehives. If you find yourself swarmed, don't try to swat at them or kill them, as the bees will only attack you more fiercely. Don't jump into a body of the water, as they'll simply wait for you to resurface and sting you then. Cover your head and face and run away until the bees stop chasing you. If you've been stung multiple times, seek immediate medical attention. The first and most important part of being stung is removing the stinger regardless of the method, and cleaning the wound with soap and water. A cold compress or ice pack can be applied to the affected area along with taking aspirin, acetaminophen, and Benadryl to help ease the itching and pain. Avoid scratching the area, as it will only increase the swelling. Seek medical attention if the swelling covers an area greater than 3 to 4 inches or if it persists for over a week. Those who are allergic should use a self-injectable EpiPen, as the release of adrenaline will help prevent an anaphylactic shock, which can be fatal. Number 2. Graham Williamson. The case of Graham Williamson serves as a tragic reminder that size doesn't matter when it comes to bee attacks. It also emphasizes the importance of knowing what you're allergic to. The father of 3 from the West Midlands region in England was 6.5 feet tall and weighed 240 pounds. Because of his stature, he was nicknamed Hulk by his friends. Unfortunately, Williamson never knew that he was highly allergic to bee stings. While mowing the lawn outside his house in July 2018, he was stung by a bee on his foot. He fell to the ground and his wife Julie tried to resuscitate him. The paramedics arrived to the scene and took Williamson to the hospital. Julie and his children held vigil at the hospital while the doctors kept him sedated to give his body time to recover. There was a brief moment of hope when his kidneys started functioning again, but he eventually lost his fight for life. The cause of death was determined to have been anaphylactic shock. Number 1. Rogerio Zuniga. In June 2015, a South Texas farmer died after he was overwhelmed by a swarm consisting of hundreds of killer bees. 54-year-old Rogerio Zuniga was using a tractor on his field near Rio Hondo when he accidentally hit an old concrete irrigation pipe with the discs from his harrow. The pipe was home to a 20-foot beehive, and the insects came storming out, attacking Zuniga inside his tractor. He got out and tried to run away, but the swarm followed him. What happened next was like a scene from a horror movie, according to his sister Lisa. She told a media outlet he collapsed and they stung his body to death. He had gaping wounds. The bees shredded him basically. It was horrible. Zuniga was found dead at the scene, and in the aftermath, an exterminator was brought to kill the bees and clear the pipe.